get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans by fans, with your hosts, Jesse Martin.
Because 90% of them are wrong. They're fucking wrong.
Max Taman.
You've got a plate of shit and you've got a bowl of shit. They're the same thing.
Scott Hartley.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
John Taman.
What the hell was I talking about?
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
And now, the world's worst podcast host, John Taman.
Hey everybody, it's me. I'm the world's worst podcast host. My name is John Taman, and this is the world's greatest podcast, the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. And if you don't believe me, look, all you need to do is go over to the international courts at The Hague and just write out a simple request form, and within minutes you will be handed an official document that says that we are the most popular and famous and greatest podcast on planet Earth. As always, as we continue our legacy of superstardom, my friend from southeastern Virginia, Jesse Martin, how are you doing today?
Doing great, John. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's great. That's great. I'll play this for you.
That's my favorite.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
I love you. Love you.
So everybody's
been a couple weeks since we've been on. We've had some news, so we thought, what the hell, free agency's right around the corner, and
it is. It's just over there.
It's Monday.
I bought a green sweatshirt, so nobody fears. I'm not an Eagles fan. It's just
I was going to say something.
No, it's just this is.
Thank you for telling me what it was.
It brings out my eyes. Anyway, down here on the bottom left-hand side of the screen here, we're going to introduce our good friend Max first. Max, how are you doing?
I'm
hi.
off guard. You usually go Scott first.
Scott's got an agent now, and we've got to do things a certain way. Go ahead.
I guess so. I pale in comparison to Mr. Scott. So,
as mentioned,
go ahead and introduce Scott. Go ahead.
The international fan of the year, down here on the bottom right-hand corner. There he is, down there, Mr. Scott. How you doing, Mr. Celebrity?
Good.
I'm honored to share the
thank
bottom
you.
of the screen with you, sir.
Oh, it's an honor to be on this podcast for the 687th time.
It is a record
guest.
that's right. It is definitely a record that's going strong. I
Thank
noticed
you, Jesse, for having me on your show.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Anytime, buddy. Anytime.
Logan Paulson calling you out yesterday.
I saw that. What was that about? I mean,
Come on, Scort.
Yeah.
Squirt. Well,
Yeah. So fair play.
he
to
was
him.
trying to decide whether or not to
appreciate
call you
it.
Squirt or Scott, so it kind of came out.
Yeah.
Wait, what did I miss?
Bit of both.
What did I miss?
On the latest Command Center podcast, I was name checked on there, which was very nice. So thank you to the team.
And
Yeah.
Logan Paulson called him Scart.
Well, the best part is that Fred
That's your
Smoot
name
said.
now.
Fred Smoot said, I wonder, since they's in the UK, they got to say American football or people going to get mad at them. I'm thinking you ought to have Fred on the show, dude. I guarantee he'll come on your podcast.
Well, now that Keith isn't on the show, he'll probably come on.
Oh, I know. Yeah, Keith will come on now that there's another international superstar, a legitimate international superstar here on the show.
Fred didn't like Keith.
I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I talked to Smoot at one of the games, and actually Keith was.
Me and Max did too.
Yeah, that was funny.
And they were jawing back and forth, and Keith was trying to get him to come back on the podcast or come on the podcast, and he was like, "I don't know if I can do it with you on there." So
Good. Well, that's the way it is, man. Believe me, that is something that I recognize very much. Now, Scott, being the international fan of the year, you do realize that you represent everyone on planet Earth when it comes to the Commanders. I mean, this is a big responsibility.
It's too big.
So
it is too big.
That's something that Scott's never heard before.
What,
Very
responsibility,
true, very true.
or that it's too big?
I'll let you.
That's
think.
a possibility.
I do hear that. Is that a thunder?
yeah, that's thunder. We got a big line. Yeah, it's been.
Yeah, storms are going through.
I was driving like 15 miles an hour home. It was raining so hard.
Well, Scott, since you are the international fan of the year, we do, you are going to represent the entire planet. So, to get us started off right, let's go to Mexico. Move over to the right. Move over a little bit.
Oh, wrong.
Go the other way. Now drop down a little bit so you can get on the hat.
Drop the low, Scott.
Out of the way, Scott. There you go.
There he is. There we go. Representing Mexico, Scott Hartley. El Scato Hartley. There you go. All right, so congratulations. Yeah, well, let's try another one. Let's see who else we got. Let's see. We've got. You're gonna have to move around a little bit. This one you're gonna have to definitely stand up for. So ready? Here we go.
Okay.
Get up there and get your head in there.
No,
Move over to the right. Move to your left.
You know.
Move to your left.
Come on,
And
Scott.
there we are. No, you're shaking the wrong thing there.
I'm not doing this.
Guten
Tag, mein Schatz. Wie geht's?
There he is.
Alles gut, alles gut.
All right, well, let's see. How about we go to delicious,
Oh, no.
wonderful.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Put your head in there.
That's where I draw the line. That's where I draw the line. Nope. Nope.
Really? Oh,
No,
that's
nah.
a shame.
He's not a fan of Pierre's.
All right. Well, there you go. I did have one more, but I don't know where
Okay.
the music is. Let's see.
It was good. That I enjoyed this.
Did you enjoy that? That was good. We'll get you with the French one when I know that you are close enough to it to be able to get it. And I'm still here. Where's that, Scott? Here we go. This one. This one actually has something. This one I made for Yam actually. So.
Oh, it's...
This is going.
Oh, wrong one.
Beers.
Oh, wrong one. Oh no, where is it?
Is Scott gonna turn into anime pixels?
One day.
One thing.
Wait.
Yeah, one job.
Let's see. Hey, dude, this is not easy. There it is. Oh, look, and Karen's there to give him his tea. Okay.
Oh man,
So-
he looks like an Elvis impersonator.
I know he looks terrible. I had one more, but it's not going to work because I couldn't get it to export properly. But if Scott was to represent Sweden, I couldn't get the background. Oh, we're still on Japan. Sorry.
Arigato.
Oh boy.
There you go. I guarantee you right now, Yam is either deciding we have bad taste or good taste. I hate that show. I don't like that show at all. I guarantee he knows what it is too. Let's see. Does he say something in the comments? He's not here. My God, the one time we played anime music for Yam, and he's not here. He got to see Scott with the big cutie eyes, and he's not here.
Oh, we'll get it. We'll get it on Twitter later. Don't worry.
Had better hair than me though, so fair play.
All right, well, that's good. I will say this. I'm very pleased and very proud and very happy that you're going to be the International Fan of the Year. We're going to have a top 10 list, not today, but before you go, of the top 10 things you can do in Green Bay. Because there ain't but 12.
It's sure it's gonna be a top. It's sure gonna be. Can we get 10? Can we get 10?
Ding Dong Dash is a clear option. Ringing doorbells and running. That's a clear option of things to do up there.
We're gonna have the Bleeding Burgundy. When is Scott gonna take a poo again after he comes back?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Very true.
Oh man,
He's going to be stuffed with cheese.
Oh
We
man,
need
fried cheese.
We need a poo journal from Scott.
Like,
of the week.
just checking in. I've still not dropped. Yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you tuned in for some kind of a classy show, I don't know what the hell you were expecting, but this is kind of what you got.
Evening
I'm
Valiance and Pete, thanks for being with us. But yeah, it's great, John, to be the International Fan of the Year. I think I'm going to enjoy going to the draft. It's going to be
Scott,
great fun.
do you feel that you've
Looking
been
forward to it.
recognized more internationally?
Oddly enough, yeah, with 278,000 impressions on the tweet. Yeah, it was quite. Yeah,
That's good.
I thought, wow, okay,
felt
this
sorry
has
for
gone a bit far. Yeah, they did. Yeah,
Just
they
think
thought,
of it.
who's this Make-A-Wish kid?
278,000 people have seen your face.
I know. It's just crazy.
At least. My favorite part of the whole thing when they announced Scott is right behind you, these little tiny helmets. There's the picture of Scott, the International Fan of the Year, with two little tiny helmets behind him. I'm thinking somebody over there's got to help him. We just stopped USAID, so we can't send you a bigger helmet. Otherwise, we would have. We would have gotten the government right on that because you need one. You are the international.
My helmet's big enough, John. Don't worry about that.
For what I've understood. Virginia McCaskey, I'd lick your butthole.
Oh, gross.
All right, that I think should get us back on track. I'm hoping anyway.
Oh, that will.
Yeah, well, it gave me time to go over here and look up our list of stuff we've got to talk about today. And I guess we'll start right off the top, man. Deebo Samuel is a commander. How do y'all feel about that? Well, Jesse, let's start with you. Deebo Samuel is a commander. How do you feel?
Yeah, pretty. I think it's good. It's a smart trade. I think a few days back before the trade, we were talking in our chat. I was saying like I don't. There was talk about Deebo, and I was like, I don't think I'd give much more than like a 2026 fourth, but a 2025 fifth.
I do want to say, you said on this show you didn't want Deebo.
It's all right.
Like I didn't. I thought it was going to be more for him. To be honest with you, I thought it'd take like maybe a third round pick or something like that. A fifth, I don't think there's much risk in this.
No.
I don't think. I think it was pretty smart on Peters, and I know the Niners are just trying to dump some salary, but I think it's a good trade, and if we can get some semblance of 2020, what was it, 2022, Deebo,
23,
or even last year he would have been. He would have been our wide receiver too.
He had pneumonia for half the season.
Yeah. So, and I don't believe all this, hoopla about him getting fat. I think it was proved that he had only been 5 pounds more than when he was drafted. So, I think if anybody knows Deebo Samuel, it's Adam Peters.
I think you're right. That's what gives me confidence in the whole thing, because prior to this, I really wouldn't have wanted him either, because I would have thought that, like you thought, the price would have been too high for a guy who has missed some time. And, there are a couple of little quibbles about him, like, can he stay in shape in the offseason? But to me, if Peters is in, I'm in. He's earned that kind of trust as far as I'm concerned. He could go after a guy I can't stand, and I would say, okay, if he thinks so, I'm in. So that's where I am with it. Scott, International Fan of the Year. How do you feel about this?
I think he fits Kingsbury's offense too. I think
agreed.
That's a big thing right there.
I think that the salary is a good thing. I mean, you're paying $17.5 million for a 1-year rental, basically, off a fifth rounder. But I don't buy the narrative of that he doesn't play and he's missed time. I mean, I'm looking back at his stats here. It's 15 games, 13 games, 16 games.
Missed 4 in the past 2 years.
Exactly. And I mean, even with pneumonia for half the season, as Max said, he's still got what, 4 touchdowns and 800 yards last year. So for me, I'm pleased with it as a trade. I thought it's another option, it's another weapon for Jaden Daniels. It takes eyes away from Terry McLaurin as well. When you're at the line, you don't know what he's going to do or where he's going to end up. So he could end up in the halfback position. He could end up in the slot. He could be anywhere. And there's so much you can do with the scheme as well to make this work. But we do still need help in receiver. And on what we've had, it's an upgrade.
Well, we only have 3 on contract right now. So
yes,
help is coming. We're not done yet.
We've only got 6 draft choices too. So I mean, I would expect to see a bunch of post-draft pickups of guys that they're just going to do the old throw the shit at the wall for 4, 5, and 6, unless they go out and sign some inexpensive, cheap veterans like Zacchaeus, somebody who. Christian, honestly, Christian Kirk, to me, it depends on the money.
I think we can get him for a cheap deal. We'll get
it would have to be,
but
yeah, we will.
I want to hear Max's thoughts on
I
Deebo?
mean, you guys basically covered it. The biggest thing about Deebo is it's just such a scheme fit. In terms of everything we need to do on offense, Deebo fills it. And Deebo's not a number one wide receiver.
No.
And on this team, he doesn't need to be.
Nope.
That's the thing is after Ayuk got hurt for San Francisco, Deebo's numbers kind of fell off because he was getting a lot of attention, and Kittle took off. Well,
they had another receiver got hurt too.
Pearsall got
Didn't he
shot.
get hurt? Pearsall got
Pearsall got
shot.
Yeah, Pierce.
Right.
On Max's point, I was listening to Kime the other day, and he went back through some of the tape from this season for Deebo, and like not only was he being covered more, but a lot of the throws, Purdy didn't have the best year.
No.
Let's be honest.
No, he didn't.
Like the whole offense, Kime said the whole offense seemed off. So putting blame on Deebo is kind of,
You can't blame
The
a
one,
wide
the one
receiver
thing
for
I,
an
what
offense.
happened.
the one thing I like about this whole contract situation is, yes, you can kick the can down the road, and you can get yourself another. You can be a 5 million cap, or he can be a 17.55 million cap. But at the same time, with the cap, I saw that too. That was cool.
But cranky, Max is such a huge
Max is-
fan. He dyed his hair Commander's colors.
Look, what can you say?
catching
All the way to the
strays,
roots
man.
too.
I don't know. I
Catching
think he
strike.
bought the
Cranky.
dye
I like
that was used on the white jersey, so it's a little off.
No, I bought the
Yeah.
dye that came from him.
But when you look at it, if you cut Jonathan Allen, which we all think he probably will end up cut or traded somewhere for a low
Makes
pick,
it a wash.
this works out to be pretty much 1.5 million, which is
Yeah.
nothing, absolute peanuts.
Right. Now, when do we have to extend him? Would that be next year?
We don't.
Because he's.
Yeah,
No,
we don't.
I mean,
It looks like to me he's under contract.
Deebo's only
with
got
the-
1 year on a contract.
but they're
Got
voidable.
1 year left.
There's
This will be a
there's like
contract
2
year.
voidable years after that. I think he's
When-
under contract to
when
27
not-
and then voidable.
No,
we don't pick them up.
When we're not picking them up. We're only picking this 1 year up.
Voidable is
we're
not
not
a playable time. That's just, hey, it's the big thing baseball. Baseball contracts, hey, we're going to sign you for 10 years, $400 million. This is the Shohei Ohtani thing. But Dad, it's Bobby Bonilla. That's the way.
Well, the only problem with that is that they keep having to. Baseball has to pay those contracts. They don't have a
Right,
cap.
and that's the thing is you'll pay it, but we're going to pay Deebo for 2 years, so you're going to get the inflated number, but you're going to just kick the payment down the line. It's Bobby Bonilla.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so we don't owe Deebo. There's a choice. We have the 21st of March is the choice. We can do it 2 ways. We can pay his entire salary, which is 17.55 million, and that includes a 15.4 million option bonus. If we don't take the option bonus, then it's 5.2, and we carry 12.3 million into next year. If we just say, hey, we're going to pay you everything, that's
Right.
it done. The rest of the voidable years that you saw in his contract will be picked up by San Francisco.
That's
They
what I
took
wanted
a
to make sure of.
they took a 30 million hit on his contract.
There was a comment that I saw. I think it was from Tom Pelissero this week that I thought was really good. So I amplified it, to my extent. So basically, what it said was, the cap is so high right now. Most teams have so much room right now that anybody can re-sign anybody that they really want to, unless the player doesn't want to be there or there's a reason they don't want them. So buyer beware. I mean, not everybody's in that position. The Cowboys, they don't have 2 nickels to rub together for one. But
when
you look at
we
it-
have a lot of cap, but we also got to think we only have 26 players on contract. Right?
right.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. We're in the same position we were last year.
It's a little bit false, but I do expect some more 1-year deals. I expect like Ertz to be back. I expect Bobby Wagner to be back on another 1-year deal. Stuff like that. Like we mentioned earlier, Zacchaeus. I do think another wide receiver is coming. I don't think it will be a trade, but I definitely think a free agent wide receiver. And there's a bunch of them out there to pick, but one to keep your eye on is Christian Kirk. I don't know
Yeah, I agree.
if we're done trading. We might not be done trading. I think a lot hinges on Jonathan Allen and what's going on with that. We've heard that Arizona is interested in him. Are they interested enough to maybe possibly even do like a pick swap or something like that? We'll give John Allen and a 6th for a 5th or something like that, just to try to get to get a little something for John Allen. I know they're trying hard, but we may not be done trading. We may.
All right. So, we were talking earlier, somebody put out one of those cryptic tweets that we're not done even trading with San Francisco right now. What do you think they might else be? There's a picture. What is that? A real picture of Brandon Ayuk
No,
with?
That's 2 Chainz. That's a rap.
Is that who that was?
That was
Shit if I know.
That came out in October.
Yeah,
Fuck if I know,
did the same
dude.
shit last
Honestly,
year.
these things they don't work too well. See, look how bad I look in that thing. I didn't expand it and look at it, and I wouldn't be able to tell you who 2 Chainz was anyway.
You couldn't even name a 2 Chainz song.
You're right. I don't see that as a problem.
John, that makes 2 of us, mate.
I'm fine with it.
All good.
It's not my style. I'm fine with it. All right, so I am okay. So we're kind of jumping the gun here. So if we're not done trading in free agency, would you think we're going to probably maybe go for more of a defensive player? Somebody that
I think
there's some cornerbacks that are hitting the market right now. Darius Slay's going out there. The other
Slay's
one from
going to
Philadelphia's
Detroit.
going. They say what they say.
Is he
right?
at 34 years old?
He has said if he's not in Philly, he wants to finish his career in Detroit.
Sure, but you make that phone call to
Yeah.
his agent.
Right.
Because
he said so
played
doesn't
well
mean
last
anything.
year. Yeah.
Right.
Slay played
At
well.
34 years old?
Sure.
If it's a 1 year, if we're saying
the
that
Lions
the Super Bowl
don't want him
window is
back.
open, right?
You
Maybe
know?
the other side of the coin is there, Scotty. If our Super Bowl window is open, we've only got 6 picks in the draft this year. We can't. We're again in the same position. Whereas so a 1 year rental at cornerback to kick that can down the road, right? We might be able to get into a Super Bowl and at the same time look at next year's draft class for cornerbacks and see how it's looking.
I do think we're going to end up with more than 6 picks in the draft.
Bradbury's out there now.
So far, we've got...
No, thank you on Bradbury. But
We-
I do think we're going to end up, probably moving around a little bit in the draft and end up with 7-8 picks at least.
So far, the remaining cap space after the Deebo Samuel trade, we still have 64.82 million, but that is not including Jonathan Allen's money, which would put us. So we're currently 6th in cap space at the minute. If we cut Jonathan Allen, we're back up to 3rd, and we should have about 80-ish million. Remaining picks, we've got 29, 61, 79, 207, 238, and 250. So that is a 1st, a 2nd, a 3rd, a 6th, and 2 7ths as it stands.
I missed. See, I thought you were going to be sitting more to the center of the screen. There you go. Now we could have gotten you in there for that. I know he usually is, and as International Fan of the Year, I think he should be. Because then we can
new setup or a new pop filter or something you put on there.
Yeah, just put it down. There you go.
see if you can get the mustache on you there. Can you see the mustache on the screen? There,
Just
there
put it
you
right
go.
over your mouth.
Pedro.
Almost.
Hello!
Hey, there it is. Hey, there he is. International Fan of the Year, Scott Hartley checking in from Mexico City.
Juan.
There we go. Let's see what. All right, we'll try this one again. All right, hang on. Let me get it out here. Let's see. Where is our German Scott? All right, you're going to have to stand up and move to the left. Get your. There you go. Get Scotty's titties in there.
News came out about DK Metcalf. That was one I was interested in before the Deebo trade, but I think that, trading for somebody.
You're right, Peter.
Just trying to be all serious. I got this Oompa music playing along. All right.
I know a lot of people are talking right now about DK, about us going after DK, but I think that kind of, even though we need a receiver like that, I think that kind of that.
I don't think you're going to trade for a receiver like of that caliber.
Yeah,
no.
Not right now.
If you're a receiver and you look at this team,
if we didn't go for Deebo, then yeah.
All right. Well, what about the guys?
Now, we're
what
in the
about
Kirk? We're in the Slayton type of receiver. That's what we're
Darius
probably
Slayton,
gonna
I'd be interested in over Kirk, if I'm being completely honest.
He's gonna have a lot of people after him, unfortunately.
Yeah, you're buzzing out.
You're looking at that saying, do you want DK Metcalf? And if you look at DK Metcalf, the absolute cap hit and the contract is horrible. You're looking at, he's actually an undrafted free agent next year, but it's 31 million this year, which is ridiculous.
unrestricted
You're
free
not
agent.
spending
Drop
half
out and
your
come back
cap
in.
on
You're popping. You're popping.
Yeah.
So drop and come back.
Okay.
I mean,
See, to
Are
me,
we con-
DK Metcalf, I think, is a player that he can disrupt. All right, and I don't mean the defense. He can disrupt your team harmony too. He can get kind of mouthy.
I don't
I
necessarily
don't want to
think
go for
DK is
somebody
even
that big.
that
I think we
good.
can. You're right. Last year he played well, but other years, man, Tyler Lockett just outperforms him. So I'd rather take the skip. I think somebody will swing high on him, and I'd rather it not be us.
Dude, he's like had the same stats as Terry, pretty much the entire.
You're right, but you're also
You're
somebody
right,
who said
but he's
that
also-
doesn't matter.
Well,
But
he's
when
also
he's also had another 1A type receiver with him. You know,
he's had better quarterbacks. He's had better coaches, and he's also 6'7" and weighs 320 pounds of muscle. The dude's a completely different type of wide receiver. So I can't really look at them in comparison like that. I wouldn't want him here for the cost, for one. I think he'll be prohibitive.
I think it's too pricey. But for just not wanting him, not thinking that he's not good, you know.
Oh, he's
I
good.
think he's a damn good
I
receiver.
mean, he's a good receiver. I just don't think he is.
He's
When
second
we did
level,
our-
second tier in the third tier maybe. And
He's
NFL.
bottom 2, top 3
Of what? Number ones?
of number 1 receivers. Bottom 2, top 3 tier.
He's on 31 million this year, which is a ridiculous cap hit. You just cannot pay that.
All right, so guys that we have here, this will start a nice fight. I think that we should re-sign Terry. I think we should make Terry a commander for life.
Yep. Sure.
And the next time that we even do anything with him is put his name up in the Ring of Fame after he has 2 or 3 more years that are good enough. Keep him
I think
along.
he's got 3. I think you sign for a 3-year, and then that a 4-year contract, but that 4th year doesn't really, But I think he's got 3 good years left.
Who is this
The problem
person?
is,
Who is this guy?
it's that $30+ million is.
No, you get-
What have you done with our friend Jesse? What the fuck? Who are you?
Jesse, no receiver right now is making $30 million a year. In the league, no receivers making 30.
Yes, they are. You got Liam. You got freaking.
You're right,
Jefferson.
Chase is about to
You're
go.
right, Jesse.
He's
You're
about to reset
right.
the.
Look
the
at what you're
market.
talking about, though. You're talking the very top players that are in the prime of their career making
Exactly.
$30 million a
But
year.
that's what the numbers are out right now. Is that
Yeah.
30
You're
million.
right, but Terry's not going to be a market-setting receiver anymore.
No, he's not going to set the market. No, he's
Like that's the thing that is like the big thing is all these players get new deals and it sets the new market. Terry's not going to ever do that.
He might
never
sign
has.
for 27, 26.
No, I
The
think
other-
I honestly think 72 million would do it, which is a 3-year. That's an average of 24. I think
I'd
that's
do it.
about right. He needs
I'd
to
sign
be
for
in.
that.
He needs to
I
be
would do that.
in
I
between.
wouldn't do much more.
I tell you what, you can
Not
offer
at
me
30
that. I'll take it.
Not going into the contract. Into the middle of the contract in his 30s. Sorry, I'm not doing it. As much as we all love Terry.
So
There'd have to be a way out.
It depends on what the guaranteed money is. That's the key. Is what can you pay in signing bonus and what can you make the cap
I look
hit
at the average annual value of the contract.
24 mil is where we want to be.
Why don't they just slide a $75 million check into his wedding present and not even say that's your signing bonus? Just here you go, and then they could get the price down a little bit. But I'm surprised, Jesse, because you've been like dead set against re-signing Terry, and I get it, $30 million is a lot of money, but I have always
Those
felt
are the numbers that are being floated out. I think it was maybe one of the
Spot
Spot
track,
track.
yeah.
I will tell you,
Yeah.
Jesse, this year, one receiver's making over 30 mil.
the thing is, this year's crazy number is next year's. Okay,
I'm
That's-
talking about I'm not talking about one single year. I'm talking about the average annual.
Yeah, but you
value
can write a
of the
contract so that way it
So
increases
there's
in
four.
value.
There's 4 if you go with that. There's Justin Jefferson with 35, CeeDee Lamb at 34,
Exactly.
Amon Ra is 30, and Brandon Ayuk is also 30. Then
I
then
think
you've
he's
got
better than Brandon Ayuk.
DJ Moore is DJ Moore's 27.5. Then Amari Cooper's at 20.
They're all-
AJ Brown AJ Brown
But-
32.
But just to go off of that, if you take Brandon Ayuk, for example, because he's who I've got, his cap hit for the first 2 years of his contract, the next 2 years are 11 and 16, And then in
Yeah.
the last two, he jumps to 42 and 44 mil.
Yeah, those are.
You gonna?
Yeah.
You're not going to take that
balloons.
as just. You're not going to take that and say, "Oh, that's a 30 million a year contract," because it's not what that is.
But it's still it is though, because you got to average it out. It's the average.
You don't
annual
have
value.
to because.
Well,
if
no,
you're in your
you're arguing
30
how they would
Because
write
it's
the
gonna
contract.
Come, it's
No, what
gonna
I'm saying
come
is
off the
if
cap
you're-
anyways, regardless if it's
No, it
3 years
doesn't.
down the
No.
road or not.
No, it doesn't. It comes down to the cap.
you
In 2027, Brandon Ayuk is going to be a 42 million a year player. In 25, he's at 11.1.
Well, they got to. What you do is you convert it into
So-
dead cap at that point when you talk about cutting somebody once they start to have those balloon years, and that's where that comes in.
You still have to pay that.
You're right. You have
gotta
to
pay the
pay that
cap.
in 2027. But if you make Terry just throw it 3 years, 90 mil, that way it's a dead 30. And this year you pay him 40 million, and then over the next 2 years after that, it's a 25 million a year contract. That doesn't mean he's a 30 mil a year player. He's a 40 and then
If you
225.
average it out in between
Right, but
those
you
2
don't
Yeah, but
do
we're-
years,
you're
yes, it
right,
is.
but you
It's
don't
just
do the average for what you pay him on a year-to-year basis.
It's just simplifying the situation is really all it's doing, and whether or not he's a $30 million receiver or
it's just-
$26
that's
million
just too
receiver
much.
next year.
It's just
It's
too much.
just-
40,
it's-
okay. Say take
The
it
market
for-
it'll reset again, and it's not going to be reset on him like we said.
It's
And
not
it'll
about-
reset
it's
again
not about
next year.
the market
The
with
cap will
Terry.
go up
He's-
again.
Unfortunately, Terry came into the league. He was a little bit older. I think he was
He was 24 when he was drafted.
Yeah, a fifth. He had a fifth-year senior, and this happens sometimes with players. You know, they go into their second contract, going into their 30s, and unfortunately, sometimes your wheels are going to slow down in your 30s.
Well,
Actually,
yeah, they are.
It happens
but
more times than not.
we'll see how deep into his 30s he can get. He's 20 now. He's 30
could
now.
get
31
lucky.
now, right?
He could be one of those superhumans,
Okay.
like like the Frank Gores of the of the universe. But that doesn't happen. It's few and far between, players that actually do that.
Let's see here. McCranky asks, DK Metcalf has requested a trade. Could the Commanders double dip and get him too? We just talked about that. We wouldn't really care for it, but if Peters does it, I'm all right with it. That's the way I am.
I care for the player. I just don't care for the price that's going to cost to get him.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Because he's going to
this year.
have suitors. He's going to have suitors because you're going to be fighting other teams to get them, and then the contract you got to pay. Unless Seattle, agrees to pay, some of that.
Am I wrong in feeling like his personality doesn't really mesh with us?
Yeah, possibly.
I don't know.
I know what you mean by that.
I wonder if we go too in depth with like the
Character. Yeah.
characters of people. I think we need some. We don't have any hard asses or divas on this team, and not
No.
saying that's a bad thing or anything like that. But divas are good players too. I mean, I think we want some people that want the ball and get frustrated if they don't
Yeah.
get the ball.
Sure.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, so to speak.
No, we've seen it out of Terry. And I mean,
When he played
I
the
don't.
Dolphins, he was just running cardio. That's what
You
he said
gonna,
in his
you know,
interview.
you gonna shake your finger at AJ Brown? I doubt it. Oh, all right. So Christian Kirk, this is the name that's been coming up. Scotty was creaming his jeans this week over this guy. As soon as he got released, I'm telling you, Scotty jizzed in his pants as soon as he found out. That's what he did.
I just like him. I liked him in Arizona with Cliff. I think he fits the system well. He's a very good slot
Cliff
receiver,
really likes him,
and
too.
he could be an out. He can play on the outside as well, which he's done for the Jags. So that's a wide receiver upgrade again, which isn't going to cost you the earth to get either. He's obviously a free agent, which helps. You're probably looking at you can maybe get him on a 1 year, $10 million deal, which is
See, the thing. Now, in our chats, we've talked about this. The thing about him that gives me pause, and maybe somebody can give me some insight on something like this. In his entire career, all right, now he's had Trevor Lawrence and he's had Kyler Murray. All right, Trevor Lawrence, up and down, hot and cold quarterback. Kyler Murray, I'd say, has been pretty good for his career. Not great,
But
he's
he's
been pretty
never
good.
been a great passer.
No, but he's been pretty good. I mean, he had that one season with Kirk where he really did quite well as a deep threat.
Yeah,
He had
his
70-some
last
catches.
in Arizona, he had 70 catches, 900 yards, and then his first
Yeah.
year in Arizona in Jacksonville, he had 1,100. But he hasn't been able to
Right.
stay healthy the last 2 years.
The thing that I see, though, all right, now see, this is where I want some clarity. If I'm looking at his statistics, the targets versus receptions is such a disparity in each and every year. The year that he caught 84 passes. All right, he caught 84 passes in 2022 with Jacksonville, and 133 of them were targeted to him. So that, by my count, is 16? That's 49 more. All right, 49 balls that went towards him that he didn't catch. Now, is that the quarterback? Is that how is that? 49.
Look at the drop rates, okay? And I did a little deep.
I don't, and I'll tell you why I don't.
And you should.
Drop rates,
Why not?
Because drop rates don't count. Right, drop rates are so fucking ridiculously specific as to what it is.
With Terry, who was saying if a ball hits off his fingers, it's a drop.
Right. Their drop rates are so. It's such a narrow. It's such a narrow window for what their drop rates are.
That's the biggest thing. Is like Christian Kirk's drop rate in his career is 6.4%.
Yeah, which is better than average.
So then why am I seeing 50 passes that miss him? You know,
over the top, overthrown passes, sideline passes.
We're talking 50 now. All right, we're talking 50 balls that are just the quarterback's fault. Or is he running the wrong routes? Is he not where he's supposed to be? Yes.
I saw 10 in the first game of Trevor Lawrence at the FedEx Field.
Fine by me, but check it out. It's not unusual there. Here in 2019 with the Cardinals, 108 targets, 68 receptions, 79 targets, 48 receptions, 103 targets, 77 receptions. There's 30 of there's a big number between these in every single season of his career. Last year, 27 receptions, 47 targets. So, yeah, I'm willing to bet that some of these are going over his head or some of these are in the dirt and they're bad throws. But when we got that big of a number, I got to wonder why. I got to wonder why guys can't hit him. Why is he not able to pull in all these, at least a better percentage than that?
I get you. All I'm going to say with that is, and the reason I'm not going to stand...
I just don't give a shit about that.
No. All I'm going to say is, when you look at the current wide receivers we had on this team, you had Olamide Zaccheaus, hasn't worked anywhere else. Noah Brown got released by the Texans. De'Ami Brown, it took him 4 years to show us anything at all. Yeah. And now you could say, if you said to me, right, we're going into the season with Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, Christian Kirk, and potentially who I want to take is Nick Westbrook-Akine and a draft choice, and Luke McCaffrey, that is an unbelievably better room than what you had beforehand.
Absolutely.
I'm all for keeping De'Ami Brown on a reasonable deal. 2 to 3 years on a reasonable deal.
It's not going to take a reasonable deal. It is not going to take a reasonable deal. That's the problem.
But De'Ami Brown's not going to get a reasonable deal.
I don't care if it's for a veteran.
If he gets paid, that's on him. I don't want him going. I'm about ready to. We've had 1 year of coaching and good quarterback play with this guy, and he started to blossom. I don't want to see him going someplace else and doing it.
And then he shit the bed in the playoffs. I mean,
shit happens. I remember Terrell Owens. Dropping balls that he was crying. Remember that when he was crying, and then he managed to catch the game winner in the playoffs.
He had 4 years to crack a starting lineup. He had this offseason.
Yeah, but he was getting so misused.
Knew everything. He had a path paved for him to nab a spot. He couldn't even get the wide receiver 4.
All those coaches showed up to practice in one car. Every day. They all popped out of the car. And
the De'Ami Brown experiment, in my opinion, is done, gone.
A lot of people feel that way. I just would rather get some return on it. I mean, I know he had a bad fumble, but so did Austin Eckler. I know his drops weren't as bad this year as they've been in the past. I didn't think. But
11%
the
drop
speed
rate. That is
this year. He dropped. He had 10 pass. He had 40 targets, 30 receptions. So whatever the drop rate was, what he is able to do, like I said, 1 year of coaching, 1 year of good quarterback play, and he started to blossom. I want to see him bloom here. I don't want to see him go someplace else and turn into the number 2 that we want him to be. What do you think, Scott, Mr. International Fan of the Year?
I understand where you're coming from with that.
Go ahead. Sorry, we had some beer happen.
But get me someone who's different to that. I mean, if you can get this is PFF, so I'll take it with a pinch of salt. But they're projecting that Nick Westbrook-Akine would be a 2-year, $3.5 million contract per year, $4 million guaranteed, 7 total. That guy got 9. That guy got 9 touchdowns last year for a shit Titans side, and he's 6'4".
So yeah, but so if De'Ami Brown is going to attract all this money because of this performance he had coming down the
all
stretch.
that much money because he hasn't shown.
So
I don't
why
get
wouldn't
where this
Akine
talk is
attract the
coming
money?
from.
Well, people
I
think
don't
that
know,
because he
because
had
he's
a
young.
good end of the They say that his potential. He showed up in the playoffs. He showed up at the end of the year. He had some big plays. That it'll get him paid, which is not unusual. We've seen that happen before to guys that maybe aren't worth it. Sometimes they pan out. Sometimes they don't.
What was the receiver for the Seahawks in the Super Bowl about 10 years ago? He showed out number 13. He was a rookie.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Matthews was his name. Chris Matthews was his name.
Was it?
Chris Matthews. This is what this is kind of reminding me of. Chris Matthews in the Super Bowl against the Patriots had like 13 catches for 140 yards, and then he was a Timmy Smith. He never did anything again.
Yeah.
And
Right. Well, Timmy Smith did sell cocaine and go to prison.
but you get what I mean. Is he had a hell of a game in the Super Bowl and then disappeared.
Maybe he's selling heroin somewhere. I don't know.
My thing with De'Ami Brown is that what happened? Did he have a great playoff run? Is he going to earn some money and then just disappear?
I don't know. I liked what I saw out of him. I want to give him the chance.
He could do, but we've got bigger fish to fry here. Like you look at every single bit of this roster, and you think to yourself, how on earth did we get to the championship game last year? Because this roster needs a serious overhaul in every single department.
Well, that is an easy answer. It's
Jaden and coaching, both.
Yeah, Jaden and coaching.
Going back to my last thought on De'Ami Brown. When we signed Deebo, that was the end of De'Ami Brown, in my opinion, because a lot of things that we did with a lot of things that they do with Deebo can do 20 times better. A lot of those screens, and I mean that's what Deebo thrives on.
Deebo is the
can't teach speed though.
I mean that's fair. But you can draft speed that's younger and cheaper.
Correct.
And I do think, if in a ways, I do see a Christian Kirk or a Akine, a type like that.
I'd like both.
But we do need some size.
You want a romantic evening, Scotty?
With both of them, I'd take that.
Might I suggest that
whether
you show
it's in
up,
the draft. We need some size in the receiver.
Hello.
I mean, Deebo's what, 5'11"? Is Deebo 5'11" or is he 6 foot?
He's 6 feet.
Terry's,
6 feet.
6 feet.
Barely 6 foot. Luke's what, 6'2" or 6'1"?
Luke is 6'3".
6'3". Obviously, he's still young, but we really need a big receiver.
Pops, you said you wanted speed, Pops. You know who's still out there and is not going to attract a lot of money?
Who?
Greg Dortch.
That is not a bad name. He does
Greg
have.
Dortch is a burner.
He is. He's definitely a burner, and he has a potential for a big player. Cardinals.
That's right.
Greg Dortch is there, and he is every bit as fast as De'Ami, and he's going to be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I would definitely be a happy guy to
you know who's out there for a receiver if we're going to talk about names that we haven't heard in a long time?
Brandon Cooks.
Steven Sims is out there.
No, that's all right. We might as well sign on with fucking Ernie Babyface Terwilliger for the Long Island Whitefellows.
Steven Sims is a burner too. Can he catch? Maybe, but he can run fast.
Yeah, we got a punt return. He can he can do that. All right, well, since we're talking about
fumble a fucking punt,
yeah.
But quote from Cliff Kingsbury: "He's one of my favorite players I've ever been around. As far as doing everything right and hardworking, a tremendous player."
That's about Kirk.
Christian Kirk, yeah. So I think there's a little bit of smoke around that. And the thing about with Kirk and Deebo is they're not just one position. I mean, Kirk can play the slot. Deebo can play the slot, and they both can play outside. I'd be fine if it's not one of my favorite players. I definitely wouldn't have traded anything, not even a 7th rounder for him if it came to that. But now that he's in, a free agent, we have a need, and I like his talent a lot more than keeping De'Ami Brown. I'm still willing to bring Noah Brown back. To be honest with you, depends on how his injury is.
Yeah, to me, Noah Brown.
Again,
he made a couple of nice plays.
a bottom, wide receiver 4 or 5, something like that.
Six,
That's
yeah,
what
that sort of
we're
time.
talking
While you got
about here.
the PFF open, what was Noah Brown's drop rate last year? Because that's where I'm down on Noah Brown. He made a couple of nice plays, but he
dropped a lot.
He had a lot of drops, but I bet you the drop rate is not that big of a number because they have such a fucking tiny little needle thread you got to you got to go through.
Something like that.
So, shifting gears, because wide receiver is always fun to talk about, but in my eyes, our biggest hole is linebacker.
Linebacker? I mean, with Jordan McGee.
He had a drop rate of 62.5 in 2024.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. He had a spate there where he had like 8 bad drops in 2-3 games.
Yeah. He had several bad drops, but 62%.
Noah Brown. Yeah, he had a bunch of drops. He just caught the biggest one, that he could have possibly got.
Our linebackers is we have McGee, who is unproven. We have Dominique Hampton, who's unproven. We have Frankie Louvu, who they like him, but we don't know what he can do.
Sorry, repeat.
He had 2 drops. He had 2 drops.
Dominique
all season.
Hampton.
Noah Brown.
Dominique Hampton.
No, see, that's ridiculous. You and I, we all sat here watching. We
watched
saw
2 of
2
them back to back.
We watched. Yes, I mean, good lord, the needle hole that you got to get through to get credited for a drop with PFF or any of those stats is crazy. It has to hit all 10 fingers.
He said he was 17th with 2 drops.
That's crazy. That's
he
nuts.
Definitely had a lot more. That was
Might be looking up Noah Fan.
So he was targeted. He was
Arc.
no. He was targeted 50. He had 54 targets.
Sorry.
And
No,
34 receptions.
62%. His drop rate was 3.6%.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
We all watched him drop the ball. We all watched him
there
drop
when
passes.
he watched our ball. We were at the stadium.
Right. I mean, we saw that, but he had some nice plays.
Catches too.
He had
He did. He had a
big
great
play in that game that we were at.
the Giants game. He had the great
He did.
catch
He caught
across the middle. But
Right.
oh man,
When
the
we
runners
needed
that
it.
he had.
Right.
game he got
When
hurt.
Jaden was
roto wire.
Would you consider the play he got hurt on a drop?
he dropped a lot of balls last year.
The play he got hurt on,
There-
the ball went through his hands and he landed on it. It broke his kidney.
That's
or
right.
whatever
That's right.
happened to
It
him.
lacerated his kidney.
Lacerated, yeah.
To me,
We'll give. We won't count that one.
I always take the
won't
drop
count that
stat with
one.
We're
a
gonna talk
big
about
grain of
Terry having a
salt.
ball bounce off his finger.
Busted fucking kidney, fucking like dripping out of his. Fucking,
Hey, Jesse, had he caught the ball, he wouldn't have broke his kidney.
That's right. God damn it! Rub some dirt on it and get back in there, Butterfingers. What's the matter with you?
But so
Put some
linebacker,
Robitussin on it,
we
it'll be
have
all right.
4 that we just don't know what they can do. And
True.
Wagner's a free agent. Is Wagner to come back?
I'm
I
gonna
haven't
go off
mentioned
base
anything.
just real quick. Talk about linebackers. Zach Bond. Wow.
Wow. What?
I
wow.
was looking
What did he
at
get?
The Eagles.
A lot, like 3 years,
yeah.
61 mil,
Hold on.
18 million a year.
I'm gonna pull up the Eagles.
Boy, cashed in.
Big contracts. Let's see. I just had that
Sa-
right here.
Saquon the day before as well.
So all right, listen to this. This is Eagles. How much their star players are making? Jalen Hurts $51 million. Saquon Barkley, fucking $20 million a year for a running back. I don't know if I
30?
could do that. Woo. AJ Brown's $32 million. Devontae Smith $25 million. Dallas Goedert $14 million. Jordan Mailata $22 million. Landon Dickerson $21 million. Lane Johnson $20 million. Zach Bond $17 million a year for a fucking linebacker.
Now, here's the other thing part of this, Jesse. I'm going to give you 4 names, and I want you to tell me what list this belongs on, okay? Roquan Smith, Fred Warner, Tremaine Edmonds, Zach Bond.
That's the top paid linebackers in the NFL.
Roquan is setting
and the top linebackers in the NFL.
Yep.
Roquan gets 20.
pros.
Yeah.
Fred Warner gets 19, Edmonds get 18, and now Bond's at 17.
We're doing, but look, think about Bond. He has been nothing but a special team player.
He was a special team player before he got signed. He was a 1-year contract.
Yeah,
He got a 1-year, $3.5 million contract with the Eagles, balled out, and now he's on a. Now he got
I couldn't do
51
it.
mil.
How he's got some balls to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
he does.
look, while we're talking about people getting paid today, Max Crosby got paid.
Yeah.
He did indeed. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
Well, the
big
cap-
contract.
That's not
The cap's
that's the
way up.
biggest. that's the biggest non-quarterback contract ever.
Until next year, it's gonna.
I mean,
it's
you're
just,
right. Until
it always
next
does
week,
this.
but-
You're right. It's always going to be something new.
It's until next week. But if you're looking at Max Crosby and how much flack he was giving that organization a month ago, and how much they just said, "All right, shut up."
Well, Tom Brady isn't going to let him go. That's the thing about them right now is I think Brady's smart. I think he probably is a smart football guy in terms of how to run the business of it, and he'll make some pretty decent moves. How about what the Rams paid fucking Matt Stafford?
Well, if we talk about the Rams just traded Jonah Jackson. They just drafted
to the
him
Bears. To the Bears, didn't they?
Stafford had a choice to go make more money and
with the Giants.
Yeah, and
I
he
don't
was
blame
like,
him. He said,
"Nope,
no.
I don't want to go out there and
It's
play."
right. I go
'Cause
live in New York and
look,
play for the
that
Giants or
coaching
live in L.A.
That coaching staff is going to be gone next year. It's
And the
gonna
general
start
manager.
now, it goes to the same with like Shadur Sanders. I can't stand him. I think he's going to be a bust. I don't think he's very good. He holds the ball too long. He gets the clout
doesn't move.
because of his
can't move.
father. Yeah, he can't move. But I understand why Dion doesn't want him going to New York for the fact
Because
that
it's a mess.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the same thing that happened to Caleb Williams. You're going to set him back a year.
More than
and
that,
I think
probably.
the rookie seasons are the most important seasons of a quarterback, and I'm fearful for Caleb that what he did, what the Chicago coaching staff did to him, he might
The
not
front
be able to
office did to him.
bounce
It's
back.
not even.
Yeah.
The staff should have
you've
never
heard
been
me.
there.
You've heard me saying this since this time last year. They needed to fire Eberflus from the jump because there was no. I could not. I for the life of me could not understand why they would let him make that pick unless he licked Virginia McCaskey's butthole. Maybe he
Eberflus is old American for lame duck. So
Is that what it is?
I mean, I do like the moves they've made today, the Bears, to try and make that offensive line better,
they
and they've
strengthened
got
their
a
inside
decent
line.
coach. Who did they sign today? They signed Jonah Jackson and somebody else.
they
signed
traded
two.
for another.
Oh,
guard.
Joe Tooney. It was Joe
Tooney.
Tooney.
They got
Tooney.
Tooney.
Yeah.
Again, Andy Reid. When does Andy Reid trade away pieces that are still good? Unless it's somebody like
Come
Tony
on,
Gonzalez
John.
who
He is good. He is
He's
good.
an all-pro.
When does Andy Reid get fleeced? I don't know what it happens.
When they have
money.
to pay, when they have to
Look at
when they
Mahomes'
have to pay their
contract.
Yeah,
and when
that's
they
true.
have to pay the best guard in the NFL. Yeah, that's
There
exactly
you
what
go.
it is.
Well, I'll tell you
So
what.
the other guy,
Look,
I can't remember his
Andy
name
Reid
now.
got rid of Tyreek Hill, and look what Tyreek Hill did.
Yeah.
Shaved his head. So who is Christian Kirk is high on your list there, Scotty Max? Who's high on your list of who you want to see us pick up here in free agency?
I mean,
Trey
I'm
Smith.
also going to steal this from Scott as well, and I'm going to say DJ Reed.
Yes.
You see, I like DJ Reed, but I'm coming around to Ward now from San Francisco.
I'm expecting us to get a lot as 49ers. If we haven't made an offer to Chin yet, I'm expecting us to go get Tua Fonga. I'm
Yeah,
expecting
great
us to make an offer for Dre Greenlaw.
I don't know where that come from. I think
Because
just keep
it's
saying-
49ers guy.
He's
He's going to go
Dre
for the guys
Greenlaw,
he
I would
knows.
love to make an
That's-
offer for him.
That's just what it's what you
Well,
see happen.
he had a. Yeah, and it's not like they're crap players either. If he brought Dre Greenlaw in here, I'd be fucking ecstatic. I would
My only issue-
fucking take Dre Greenlaw and I would put him in my car and we would drive over to fucking Jack Del Rio's house and I'd knock on the door and I'd go, "See,
Well, you'd have to go
look
to
at him!
Paris. You'd have to drive
It's a
to Paris.
fucking linebacker."
But here's my issue with Dre Greenlaw: is look who he played next to. He played next to the
Fred Warner.
best linebacker in the
That's
league.
that. But look,
And-
we've got a guy like that too. If we bring Wagner back, which I would be for. Look, I think that
We
number
don't
one,
play
Wagner's
three linebacker sets though.
Wagner's
do you-
experience.
Well, I think we could. We didn't because we didn't have a left.
We
out
can
tackle.
flex. We can flex to all kinds of things. But to me,
I think
Wagner's
if we go
experience, his
linebacker,
ability to be a
we
coach
can
on the
go to, like,
field.
Nick Bolton or somebody like that.
Yeah, maybe. So here's something for you then.
Young.
Do you look at not splashy moves, and I don't mean that like, oh yeah, we're going to go out and get this player, we're going to go out and get that, and it's going to be all amazing, all roses.
Mm-hmm.
How many big splashy moves do you think we make in free agency?
One,
Two, maybe.
maybe one.
Depends on what's flashy that's left. Like I said,
think
man,
one more's
teams can.
left.
Teams can sign.
So what do you when you say splashy? What is your criteria?
I mean, someone who's probably been an All-Pro or has multiple Pro Bowls is probably commanding around about 14 plus mil a year ish.
So
Who's in your mind,
a
Scotty?
solid start.
it sounds like
So
you're trying to set someone up.
He is.
I'm
He's got
looking
somebody
at
in mind.
I'm looking at Ward and saying, would he be the answer
Travarius
at corner?
Ward?
And I'm thinking yes. Or even would you look at?
29?
Yeah, but the reason he wants out of San Francisco is what happened to his family, which was horrendous to even think about. And he even said in an interview, every time I fly back to California, I want to leave. Because he's got bad memories there. Now, of all the places you could go, you go to a guy who's the general manager who drafted you for that organization. You know what you're going to get him. Was he not?
Travis Ward was an undrafted free agent.
Was he undrafted free agent?
But
Okay,
he-
fair enough. But
He
you know
went
what I mean.
to Dallas to start his career, and then was in Kansas City, and then got a big money contract with San Fran.
Josh Sweat.
I would go.
Eagles can't pay everybody.
What do you guys think about Khalil Mack? We need a edge rusher
Ooh,
back.
yeah, we do.
Do you think he's going to be that 3-down edge setter though?
He was pretty damn good last
Yes.
year.
Very good last year.
Right, but we can't just pick and choose when we're talking about age.
Depends on
Khalil Mack
position.
is-
Do
Well,
look, Max.
we're talking about
the-
a one year contract. you know.
I get
The
that.
dude,
but
the dude
he's
was
34.
a 90. He was rated 90, and he was the 12th best edge apparently according to PFF last year.
I mean, I
he's
get that,
34.
but what is his sample size?
The problem is there's nothing else left, really. Josh Sweat's
Josh
getting older,
Sweat.
and Josh Sweat's never been.
Dude still had 7 sacks. Yeah, 7 sacks and 2 forced fumbles last year.
He's gonna cash in on a big Super Bowl.
I mean,
Lion.
the most amount of snaps that Khalil Mack played in a game last year was 89 in one game. Every other game he was below 80. So 80% of the snaps, if you have
That's a lot of snaps,
right,
dude.
But what I'm saying is
That's about a
if
full
you-
game.
So if you have 60 snaps on defense, that's 48 snaps. That's 12 plays you're not on the field. And
How many plays are
as-
teams running during a game? 60 to 70 to 80.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying I just threw 60 out. Just if you run 60 snaps, that's 48. But if you're going to pay someone a lot of money, you're going to want a 3-down edge setter. You're going to want someone who's on the
if
field.
he's playing 80 snaps, look, if you're playing 60 snaps, you're getting your ass beat. That's you're getting your butt beat. You're punting all the time. If you're playing, if your team, and I'm saying as you look at any game, the average number of snaps. Now I'm just going off of my own past experience, knowing these things.
I
It's
think
about
it's around 60,
70,
average.
75 to about 75. So 80 snaps is a lot. All right, and granted, teams are running faster hurry up now. They're doing a lot more of that, so that's possible. But if you're telling me Khalil Mack's averaging 80 snaps per game, he's playing the whole game. He's definitely playing.
Where are you getting the number 80 from?
Didn't you just say that?
You said it.
80%.
80% of the snaps. That's still,
Well, yeah.
you know.
I mean,
So-
I
right, but
thought
I'm
you
saying
said. I thought you said
so-
80 snaps and 89 snaps per game.
So
You're
just
talking about 80%.
for context as well, because I just pulled up our wild card game snap count. Our defense was on the field for 48 snaps. So
Yeah.
if I have someone who's out there for 80% of that, that's a little over
32.
37, 38. I can't do fast.
Right.
Yeah, it's
I
37,
mean,
38.
You know, I mean, there's rotations that go around.
I mean,
So-
right. But
Well,
if you
yeah, it's kind of a.
Because we still have Dorrance Armstrong on contract. You bring out Fowler, you bring in Mack, and then now you got a formidable edge rush.
Malcolm Kuntz is a great shout there from Peter in there as well. He had a great season. Obviously, not last year, year before, but injury, and that's the problem. Everybody's got injuries.
He also benefited too from Max Crosby.
True.
Let's be real.
And he,
A lot of attention goes to Crosby.
What about Aziz Ojulari?
that's someone.
I know it's not gonna be
It's
expensive.
not going to be expensive, but he's young and he's got the raw talent. He was on a very
25.
bad Giants team. Yeah, 25. It's, I mean, that's
Well, he's not
3
even
years younger than me.
25 yet, so yeah, you know what I mean.
We got the Dio Odengibo.
Oh, yeah.
So
I know
Dingy
who-
here's the first
From
question.
the
Here's the
Colts,
question,
yeah.
because last year this shocked me. just in general, who's going to be the first free agent signed? Do you guys remember who it was last year?
No.
I don't mean on our team. I mean in general around the league. It was a running back. It was Tony Pollard.
Oh.
So who's going to be the first signed?
First?
The first league wide, and how long is it going to be? How long is this
available?
Who's the first signing for the Commanders then? Do you think we bring back our own now? Or are you talking
Hey,
Max?
Adam Peters
some
traded
news.
for Chase Young.
Yeah,
That's something to consider, too.
I think we're going to get some news
I would rather
probably
not.
this weekend of us signing some of our own players back.
Yeah.
Okay, then
You think they bring back Chin?
And
I'd
who do
hope
you want
so.
back?
absolutely, yeah.
Are you
That's why
surprised they
I don't
haven't
think
done
the
it yet?
safety from I don't think we get the safety from San Francisco.
Huafunga.
Yeah.
What about the
Are you
safety
surprised
from
they haven't-
Las Vegas?
Are you surprised
Have a
they
look.
haven't brought anyone back yet?
Yeah, Tressway needs to be signed, clearly.
I'm sure
Who else?
they're working on contracts as we speak. Like I said, I think both, like Peter said, both Ertz and Chin are coming back. Wade's definitely coming back. Let's be real. I do believe, I think it's probably like an 85% chance that Wagner will be back.
Yeah, I think he should be. I think Mariota will probably be back as well.
Another interesting
Mariota's gonna
name,
get money.
you know,
He's
this
gonna
goes
get
down the
money
barrel
somewhere.
just a little bit, but Christian
Look.
Fulton, possibly as another.
I mean,
Defensive
if
back
you look
or
at the
cornerback.
quarterbacks in the market right now, it's a backup quarterback driven market this year. There's
Yeah,
only
100%.
one starter, and that's Sam Darnold. Everyone else is backup quarterback material, and that's just going to drive the value up.
Mariota's going to get some looks.
He's going to get some starter looks,
Yeah,
and I mean, frankly, so
I want him back, but I would totally understand. You know, if he gets the
Oh, yeah.
opportunity, you know, New York or Vegas or just a team like that. I'm really interested to see what the Giants are going to do. They swung so hard for Stafford and
I'm
got
convinced
shot
the Giants
down.
are going to get Rodgers.
I kind of hope they go ahead and be stupid
Wouldn't
and
that be
draft
awesome?
Shadur Sanders.
Any of these quarterbacks. I'm not high on any of these quarterbacks
I like
this year.
Ward.
I think this is a schmuck year.
I like
Look,
Ward.
I liked Cam
has,
Ward, and then I
an
watched him at the
opportunity.
Pop-Tarts Bowl stand still in on a play. Just he didn't even try and bop. He just stood there and then dumped it off to a running back, and then he pulled himself out of the second half because he thought he did enough.
Well, it's the Pop-Tarts Bowl. He's supposed to
You're
toast.
right.
What do you
All right,
think
well,
of
ahead.
what do you think then going forward
I got
is
another name for
how what do we do at tight end? Not saying Ertz because we all want Ertz back, but
we
we
spent a
have
second
no
on Senate.
tight ends.
Scott, you have to
We
say
spent
his
a
name
second
right.
on Senate.
There it
Senate
is.
is going to be. We're going to see a lot more Senate this year.
I would like to get it. I would kind of like to keep. I see a lot of people that are talking about Noah Fant. They've been talking about other tight ends that they think would upgrade us immediately.
I don't think it's a need really, especially if we bring back.
Really? we haven't got any
we
tight
spent
ends.
We have Senate.
Senate.
Bate-
We have Bates is still
gone.
there.
Ertz is
Bates is gone.
contract.
Ertz, I think we should bring back for a 1-year deal. I think.
Right, but we can't put all our
can't
eggs
just go
in that
with two.
basket. We can't put our eggs in that basket till it happens.
Well, yeah, but I wouldn't want to go spending heavily on free agency to bring in a tight end
I want
free.
to. I kind of.
And I don't want to go looking for a tight end
I
one.
think that's where we need the
What
most
about
help. Is the
Kyle
defense.
Pitts?
Under contract.
The thing with Kyle
Not
Pitts
free
is
agent.
No, I think
he has so much potential.
Did I say the
but
right
he
name?
is. Are you talking about the
Potential to get
Falcons
you
tight
fired.
end that
Pitts, Pat Pitts, the Falcons tight end who's
He's going
supposed
through,
to
like,
be
3 coaching
showing up any
staffs,
day
and
now.
None of them could do anything with him.
Kyle Pitts? I thought he just got signed.
I think he's a free agent, and I
I'm
mean,
gonna
I
throw
think he
this
would
name out
command
there.
money. That's the problem.
Throw this name out here, and just because we need defensive end help.
Go on.
I don't know, but I want to ask you guys, DeMarcus Lawrence,
I wouldn't mind it. I
just
would.
because of the Dan.
He's younger than Khalil Mack.
Yeah, he is. But he's
wouldn't
had a hell
mind
of a lot more
DeMarcus Lawrence.
injuries. He's had a
I
hell of
wouldn't
a lot
mind
more
him.
Same.
injuries.
Right,
You
but
know.
if
It
we're
would be-
going to talk DeMarcus Lawrence the same way we're going to talk Khalil Mack, I would rather have Lawrence because Lawrence is a run stopper as opposed to
Scott.
No.
Why
He's
not?
coming off of a Liz Frank injury, and we know about them damn dreaded Liz Frank injuries.
It's better than a Liz Taylor injury. Anyway, yeah.
So just to answer your question, Kyle Pitts is on his team option this year.
All right,
Oh,
so
there you go.
he might be intriguing, but I think that because his potential has never panned out, so I think the price could stay down. If we
Right,
could
so-
pull him in, I wouldn't necessarily mind. If it's got to be cheap, though.
How can you say that a 34-year-old Khalil Mack, who is a surefire Hall of Famer, and has
What?
had an
I don't know
amazing
about
season
that.
last year? I think so.
Hall
I think
of
he's
Fame.
right up there. Khalil Mack is, I think he'll get looks. Definitely.
Yeah.
But you're telling me, Max, that a guy who's
Maybe not
1 year
first
younger
ballot.
not first ballot, but a guy who is one year younger in Lawrence, you're telling me you'd take him.
I'm not saying I'd
Lawrence
take him.
is
Nah, bro.
filled with injuries.
So's Khalil Mack, but
Money wise, I get you. I get where you're coming
that's
from.
what I mean. Is financial wise, DeMarcus
Yeah.
Lawrence would be a much more appealing option to me, just because you wouldn't have to pay him as much, and you'd get a very similar production.
Just draft one.
I'll throw another name to you guys. Was a tackle, moved to guard. We do need some guard help.
We
Mekhi
certainly do. Absolutely
Who?
in a heartbeat.
What'd you say?
Mekhi Becton.
He
Yeah.
has played very,
He's
very
huge.
well.
I wouldn't mind
He
Mekhi
moved
Becton.
inside.
He's a big body,
Yeah.
and to quote
In
Michael Irvin, all you
a
got to do is stand there.
It's a 3-second
He's
fat man
huge.
dance.
He is
That's-
big.
I would not complain about that.
Especially
Yes, we
with
do.
Cosme out and sorry, Alec
What
Burks
about
just
Brandon
didn't do anything
Scherf?
for me.
Nope, too expensive. The guy for me who is a guard is a guy called James Daniels who played for the Steelers. Had an amazing season last year. He is going to test free agency. Not expected to get big money. Not many people are talking about him. Slides in at right guard straight away. Takes over from Cosme until Cosme's back, and then you've got a decision to make with Wiley, whether you bring Wiley inside or not. You draft a right tackle. Or you could, if at 29, if there's a left tackle still on the board, you draft the left tackle and maybe move Coleman inside, which I'm not too keen on. But at the same
think Coleman's
time,
going
it's what do you
inside.
do?
You know who wouldn't be a bad
Coleman's fine
guard?
where
Is
he
just as a depth guard is Tevin Jenkins.
Yeah, I wanted
Jenkins.
Alex Kappa. That was my guy there. I thought,
Well,
but
you
he signed today for the Raiders for $11 million for 2 years, which is.
But I mean, look, Tevin Jenkins was a second-round pick, and he was a tackle coming out of college. He got moved inside to guard.
was.
He is a violent guard.
That's what you want in a guard. You want a guy that can pick up a pickup truck and throw it right at somebody's face. That's what I want. So, in terms of free agents, you guys are looking that we're going to spend a bit. I, on the other hand, Jesse called me a traitor, called me, says I caved, says everything was horrible about me doing this, but I've done my first ever mock draft. I swore up and down I'd never do one. I told everybody that I was going to do something different and do one and not show it to everybody like everybody else wants to. But now, I think it's time that I bring out the first ever John Taman mock draft. Here it is. I mocked the Commanders draft. Let's see here. Let's go with something like this. There we go. There we go. All right, so for my first pick in the draft, I am high on these speedy running backs. I think we need some shiftiness, some speed, somebody that nobody can catch. I took Speedy Gonzalez, running back, Texas Rodent University. Motherfucker's quick, man. I'm telling you right there. He's flying under the radar. So in my second round pick, I went ahead and said, Sean Hockley, come on over here. He's always fucking us. We might as well just get him on our team for a change and get him out of Philadelphia. We could have maybe picked him up as a free agent, but I figured I'd just go ahead and draft him. All right, third round. I picked a bottle of Jergens. We got a long wait till the sixth round. I'm figuring on hitting Pornhub. So I selected a bottle of Jergens in the third round there.
Max is done.
Equipment assistant from Palmdale University. All right, in the sixth round, I got Godzilla. I was amazed Godzilla was still on the board this time. He's fucking huge. I mean, you want to talk about guard help. This dude has one toe.
or a tackle.
He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Tell you what,
Godzilla
he could,
pulling around the head. Come on now.
there he is. Yes,
out of Tokyo Bay.
that's right. Coming out of Tokyo Bay as a 9-year senior here, weighing in at 6,000 tons and standing 300 feet tall. Godzilla. I think he would do just fine for us. Round 7, I took Scouse. I picked Scouse, kicker from the Liverpool Reform Academy for Boys. I figured this guy must know what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to kicking. And besides, we've already drafted Godzilla. If we hadn't been able to get Godzilla in round 6, I would have picked Scouse's head for the same position. But since Scouse is there, I'm taking him as a kicker, and he better not be shite. Round 7. Look, this was our last pick. I figured I'd take a flyer. I wasn't sure quite what I would do, but we're still looking at a number 2, number 3 wide receiver, trying to boost that room. So I tried to do something a little different and go a route that nobody ever went before and draft off of somebody else's team. And I picked Puka Nacua off of the Rams. So I figured we could get it tied up in the courts long enough that at least we can get the season started, right? And we can get out there with Puka Nacua, Deebo Samuel, and Terry McLaurin is our wideout. So there it is. John Taman's first ever mock draft. Speedy Gonzalez, Sean Hockley, Bottle of Jergens. We're going to have some fun. Godzilla, Scouse, and Puka Nacua. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. They said I couldn't be doing it, and I've gone ahead and done it.
I like that. Well,
and it's almost right on time here.
Yeah, can you imagine that? Do you imagine that, boys? I get, here you go, Scott. You're now going to go on stage and you're going to announce the pick. You're going to announce pick 238. Yeah, Scouse.
Scouse. Well, if we don't get Godzilla, you got to announce just Scouse's head. Scouse's head guard, Liverpool Academy for Wayward Boys.
Listen, if I have to announce a pick, but just please give me like John Smith from Iowa or something like that.
I hope you get some guy from Nairobi whose name is like Undur. He's some kind of clicky thing.
7 clicks.
Yeah, 7 clicks and or something like that. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I watched a video about some of those languages, man, and people that speak them fluently. It is a trip. I don't know how you move your mouth like that fast, but I guess if you grow up learning how to do it. Anyway, so there you go. There's John Taman's mock draft. I hope everybody had a good time with that. We will be back, I would say. Let's see here. Are we done?
Yeah,
I would say we're
It would be funny, Scott, if you were in the crowd and you had a big old one of those big old
bellies.
You know, like have those big posters of like big heads, you know,
Oh,
Scouse's
yeah.
head. They just have a giant arm.
And then turn it so that the camera can see it.
For the camera.
Right. Oh, that would be wonderful.
I
You can
need
get
a
it
pack
made,
from you
and
boys.
you could get it made, and then you could get it shipped to like the fucking whatever they have, it's Staples in Green Bay. Pick it up,
Yeah.
so you don't have to carry it on the plane. Because honestly, if you carry Scouse's big head on the plane, they're gonna throw you off the plane. They're gonna be like, "Sorry, sir, that looks dangerous."
Come on. Leave him alone.
I am gonna leave him
strays.
alone. He is catching strays.
Nice.
Notice
For
I'm
some
drafting him as a
reason-
kicker.
I don't know, man. I see if we go for another big ticket, like Ronnie Stanley or fucking
No, I don't think we do
Williams,
that.
Ronnie Stanley's going to New England.
Milton
New
Williams.
England is so much money.
Oh, if we got Milton,
Milton
Williams.
He wants to get
That's a good
seriously
one.
paid.
Well, I thought we were going to go for Odiggy Zua, but obviously he got massively paid today. But that was another mad move. I
was
mean,
like
they
Diggy.
restructured Lamb and they restructured Dak today as well, and just made 65 million in cap space.
If we go after a DT, though, what does that do for Payne or Johnny Newton? 'Cause if
They're
you're
in rotation.
right, but if you're going to pay big money,
You need to have 3.
I understand. What I'm saying, though, is if you pay big money, are you going to sit down your second-round pick last year, or are you going to sit down Deron Payne?
You're not sending any
Not-
because they're on the rotation.
No,
rotate
it's on
them.
rotation.
Okay.
But you're
I
right.
mean, we
I
rotated
get what you're
Shelton
saying.
Day and what's that other dude from
I know that it's
Norfolk?
you do a rotation, but I'm saying is what's your who
Carl
are your
Davis?
main 2?
Well,
Yeah, I know.
you
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. The good news is that there's enough maneuvering room under the cap for us this year to be able to answer a lot of these questions. And we're almost in the same boat as we were last year. We have 24 returning players this year. And last year, I think we had 26. So we are going to have to do some internal house inside signing. I'm of the thinking that that Dante Fowler gets a contract. I think he does.
Yeah.
So
He earned one.
we'll see how it goes. Well, I think that they're going to bank on McGee and what's Dominique Hampton. I think they also like Dominique Hampton as an edge. They like him coming down and on the line. So maybe that's factoring into their plans. We got a lot of questions as fans that we're trying to answer. And they've got options. That's the best thing. They've got options. The best thing I also would say is this. Watching social media and not having to look at all the quarterback tape. Not
It's
having
so
to
nice.
go. It is.
So nice.
It's so nice to not have to just try to to look at every nuance of the quarterbacks and try to figure them out, especially
Looking
with
at
this
these
class.
quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean,
never
it's
mind.
saying something. The best one might be Jackson Dart.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Well then, fellas, when's the 1 Point Safety Show coming back?
Monday, I believe, we'll be back on.
All right.
Monday,
3 p.m. on the East Coast here in the United States.
No, it will be it would be 4 p.m.
All right,
When
there you
does
go,
the
ladies.
Tampa period officially start? Noon on Monday? Noon on
Yes,
Monday.
it does. Noon on Monday.
Started last month. Let's be real.
You're right.
Honest to God, sometimes I just wonder what the fuck somebody's thinking, and then they go, "Let's call it legal tampering." No, dumbass. You can't.
once again,
it's like,
Do
no.
you guys think that there's going to be a J.D. McKissick move where someone's going to just revert back on a team and go the other way? Do you guys remember what happened with J.D. McKissick with the
There's
Bills?
a guy. There's a guy. J.D. McKissick.
Yeah.
Dad has no idea what I'm talking about. It's fine.
Revert back to a team. J.D. McKissick, I know he's a
he was
Viking.
going to go to the Bills.
He came to us.
J.D.
Oh, right,
McKissick
right.
After the first time he was here, he went to the Bills and accepted a contract that said, nah. And he
Right,
came
and
back.
that's right. We offered him some money, and he came back. So we'll see what happens. I think that this year's free agency is going to be kind of quiet. Any thoughts on Devontae Adams?
Can't be quiet.
No
You got
way.
Too many fucking holes to fill.
No, I mean, I just think in terms of names, sort of league-wide, I think it's going to be relatively quiet. We're going to see a spate of re-signings over the weekend, I think. So, what do
There
you
are
think
very
of
few
Devontae?
bright spots in this free agent class. Same as the draft class, truly.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams is the number 10 ranked free agent on the market.
He's going to want a lot of money. And I really, no thanks. The guy's, he didn't elevate anything when he got out to Oakland, and granted it's, the quarterbacks weren't good or anything like that, and he just, I don't know, man. When he had Aaron Rodgers in Aaron Rodgers' prime, he was amazing, and he had some good games and good play with the Raiders, but the cost, and I think again with the clash of personalities, I'm not into all of that. So, what the hell is that? Anyway, all right, I lost my song here. I'm trying to get out of this fucking show here. So I guess we will see you right after free agency gets going. So maybe next Friday or something like that. We'll come back on here with a couple of updates and some thoughts about what we've got going on for free agents that are coming to town, and then we'll see you again before the draft.
Right before Scott gets on the plane. Scott will do the show from the plane. How about that?
I will check in, but I need a patch or something to wear for the show while I'm there.
All right.
So we'll have to try and fix that somehow.
All right, we'll figure something out. We got to definitely get you up there to say our name. Damn straight. And you got to correct, Logan Paulson and say, look, I know you're the 1 Point Safety Show, but you are the special guest of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast every week for, I think, the last 10 years. So,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go. Scott gives me the one line. And we'll see y'all after that. Bye.